Launching their Kickstarter campaign on December 16th of 2019, Pwnage was looking to make an impact on a rather colorless world of gaming mice. A lot of the time when you're searching for a product that suits your needs, it's rare that you ever get a say in how it looks when it's finally become a part of your setup. It's a simple thought, but the idea of being able to express yourself while also being able to perform at your best is something you don't see a lot of in the market. Complete with a wired and wireless option, Pwnage has entered the market to prove a point that not everything has to be so black and white. Today, we'll see if the Pwnage Ultra Custom really can deliver on its promise of allowing you to click heads and look good while doing it. Before we get started, I just wanted to make it clear that this unit was sent out for review by Pwnage. You should know that all opinions here are my own, and this does not affect my review in any way. My name is Athey, and this is the Ultra Custom Ergo from Pwnage. The Pwnage Ultra Custom comes in a simple black box that looks identical to the wired version. On the inside, you're immediately greeted with the mouse protected by a block of foam and a small box lying beside it, containing an additional set of either white or black shells depending on which color you ordered. You should receive an extra set of the opposite color. The main difference in the packaging here are that the wireless includes the replaceable USB-C cable along with the dongle and extender. And lastly, you're given some button spacers to place on the plungers for a different click feel. These range in height from 0.5mm, 0.6mm, 0.7mm, and 0.8mm. When it comes to the wired Pwnage Ultra Custom, the only extras you're given are a single tray of weights, split into 12, that you can remove to your liking. The wired version also comes with the same button spacers mentioned before. Both mice also include 2 DPI buttons with different heights. The Pwnage Ultra Custom Wireless uses a PMW3335 optical sensor, while the wired version uses a PMW3389 optical sensor. The main focus here will be on the wireless Pwnage Ultra Custom and performance using the PMW3335. The wireless Pwnage Ultra Custom feels on par with something like the G Pro Wireless, Model O Wireless, and other top wireless mice. However, from a technical standpoint, something that should be pointed out here is that the Pwnage Ultra Custom has slightly messy polling rate stability from 500Hz to 1000Hz. I know this doesn't sound great, but the good news here is that if we're looking at this based solely on real gameplay testing, the difference in feel isn't something you're likely to notice when using it alongside other top wired and wireless mice. I personally never encountered any issues during the hours of gameplay testing I put into this, from Twitch shooters to tactical shooters. It should serve you well in a competitive setting. The DPI on this mouse maxes out at 16,000 DPI. DPI steps range from 400, 800, 1200, 2400, 3200, and 6400 by default. The DPI steps are also indicated by the scroll wheel LED. 500Hz is your default polling rate here, which is great to save battery, but it can be adjusted via their software from 125Hz, 250Hz, 500Hz, and 1000Hz at the far end. The software here is pretty basic while not the best looking. The main tab allows you to change your mouse binds to things like macros, DPI adjustments, multimedia, and other basic functionality. Love to see it. You can also adjust the polling rate and view your remaining battery life in the form of a percentage, which is great to see. I gave Glorious a knock to their software for this, and it's honestly really great to see it here. Inside the second advanced tab, you can adjust your 6 DPI steps to your liking, or you're given the option of disabling them altogether. Pretty standard stuff. You can also adjust the RGB and the speed and effects at which they move, along with changing your Windows pointer settings, but I definitely wouldn't mess with any of that. At the very least, please make sure you have improved pointer precision turned off. In the third tab, titled Macro, you can record macros for whatever your setup needs. I've personally never been a fan of macros, but the option is there for those who need it. Finally, the last tab allows you to adjust your RGB in the form of RGB values, which is pretty neat. Not a lot of software gives you this option. Everything mentioned above is saved on one of 4 profiles you can use, and once you've set up your mouse, you can easily uninstall the software. When it comes to battery life, I never had any issues with the mouse dying on me in an intense session, or being inconvenient to charge in any way. Battery life here is close to some of the top wireless mice out on the market. While the Model O Wireless is rated for around 71 hours, the Pwnage Ultra Custom can last around 66 hours with the RGB off, and around 40 hours with the RGB on and a full charge. However, I was not able to confirm if their testing was done at 500Hz or 1000Hz. And if you're caught in a situation where your battery is running low and you don't have a lot of time to play, the mouse only takes 1 hour to fully charge. Now before we get into the buttons, here's a quick sound test. Mouse 1 and Mouse 2 on this mouse use the very popular Omrons rated for 20 million clicks. The same switch is used in the Model O wireless. Stock clicks here feel light and tactile, while having a low pre-travel and a moderate post-travel. Side play on the buttons is solid here. Mouse 1 feels locked in place, while Mouse 2 has very little side play. In a unique choice of features, you're also given the option of applying button spacers to your mouse plungers for a different click feel, ranging from 0.5mm all the way up to 0.8mm. The low end of the clicks feels soft and subtle, while using the high end of the button spacers feels crisp and tactile. This is definitely the first time I've seen something like this offered in a mouse, but personally, I was happy with how everything felt stock for my clicks. Mouse 1 and Mouse 2 are also removable like most of the mouse shell here, one of Pwnage's biggest selling points. The parts here ignoring the DPI switch are held in place by magnets, and everything here feels excellent despite how easy it is to remove. Side buttons here have a low pre-travel, but feel slightly mushy if you're familiar with the Zowie EC series. But the good news here is that it does look like they've fixed previous issues with the side button plastic pushing deep into the shell. It looks like they've fixed this by having the side button plastic stop by making contact with an inner wall of some kind. Side buttons here are large, but just slightly out of reach near the highest point of the mouse. The side button switches also appear to be using black shell, white dot Huano switches. The DPI button is also a removable silicone that is soft to the touch. This is the case for both the wired and wireless versions. The power button is also located at the bottom of the wireless Pwnage Ultra Custom, allowing you to switch it on with the RGB or without it. I found the execution of the power switch pretty unique compared to most mice simply turning into the on or off position. The Pwnage Ultra Custom scroll wheel uses an F-switch brown encoder. Scroll movement feels very similar to the Model O scroll wheel, very smooth while the steps are subtle but defined. Scroll wheel rubber used here feels flat and smooth as well. It has a subtle lined texture unlike the deeper grooves found on the Model O scroll wheel. Due to the ergonomic shape of the Pwnage Ultra Custom, it's slightly tall at the front while being much taller at the hump in the middle. This dips much lower at the back while extending further at the back. The right side is rounded while the left side is curved inward. The shape here is typically compared to mice like the Zowie EC series and Sharkoon Light. The top of the mouse has a smooth matte coating, while the sides feel like a raw plastic, and it doesn't have much texture here, while the side buttons use a glossy coating. This is the same for both the wired and wireless versions. Although the grips aren't included with this mouse, I was sent a set for review as well. The custom mouse grips, as Pwnage calls them, are pretty solid when it comes to other popular brands like Lizard Skins, Marucci, and Hotline V2. They look very similar to some of the BTL grip designs if you're familiar with their brand, though I have no way of confirming if these grips are exactly those. Their grips are also 0.4mm in thickness. While they don't feel sticky like Lizard Skins, they have this tacky feel similar to the stock Ultralight 2 Infinity skins, but better. The best way I can describe it is that these are essentially Ultralight 2 stock grips if they were actually good. They're great grips, and you get 4 in total for Mouse 1, Mouse 2, and the sides. For any seriously competitive players out there, it's likely you won't care about how your mouse looks on your desk. The main thing you want is for your mouse to perform well, and while the Pwnage Ultra Custom certainly does, it's nice that you're given the option to select your own unique style. Pwnage offers different colored shells for the mouse that can all be swapped super easily, from 20 back cover styles to 10 button styles. It's a small thing, but it's nice given how most mice look pretty boring nowadays, and I'm all for more color options in this market. The cable here is surprisingly USB-C, while companies like Logitech are still charging hefty price premiums without any huge upgrades to keep up with the market. The cable here feels on par with something like Razer's stock paracord, but just a bit more flexible. The cable comes paired with a dongle that you can use plugged directly into your PC or into the extension cable. The wired Pwnage Ultra Custom is much stiffer in comparison to the wireless version when it comes to the cable. Not everything is perfect here though. I did encounter one issue with the wireless Pwnage Ultra Custom cable. I rarely unplug the dongle from the extended base, but I found with my unit that just plugging it in and unplugging it with the required amount of force had nearly pushed the internals out of the base itself. A bit worrying considering there hasn't really been a chance for wear and tear to take place. It's an easy fix with some super glue, but I did just want it to be known. In regards to the mouse feet, they're pretty solid for stock feet. They're virgin PTFE skates with rounded edges. The weight here is pretty great for a wireless package. According to my scale, the mouse weighs in at around 65 grams without the back cover, 73 grams with the solid cover, and 69 grams with the holes. The battery inside also weighs around 7 grams. Now when it comes to the wired version, I found 58 grams without the back cover, 66 grams with the solid cover, and 62 grams with holes. Additionally, using no back cover with all the extra weights on the wired version brings the mouse to about 73 grams. First, let's talk about the wired version. Squeezing the sides, I can't hear or feel anything super worrying in regards to creaking or intense side flex. Now when it comes to the wireless version, everything feels perfect here. Really impressive when you consider most of the top shell is held in place by magnets for both the wired and wireless versions. The wireless shell here feels great with zero creaking or flexing. Really solid. The only knock I can give to the build quality here is my previously mentioned issues with the wireless base extension and cable. The shell is held together by 2 screws hidden under the mouse feet as usual, and it's as easy as popping open the sides and you're in. Just be careful with the single set of wires holding the top and bottom shell together. Just a small warning though, if you do plan on poking around in here, be extremely careful when unplugging the battery. It's super fragile. There have been issues with this in the past, and considering Pwnage has some large bold letters on their site telling you not to try it, it's probably best that you don't. I would like to assume that this issue has already been addressed, but if you're fine with taking that risk, then it's entirely up to you, just giving a fair warning. Though when it comes to mice in general, you should probably expect your warranty to be void as soon as you open your mouse anyway, but obviously this can vary between companies. Pwnage was looking to create a wireless mouse with your aesthetic in mind, while still being a top performer. There's not a lot of options out there when it comes to making your own hardware truly your own. Pwnage seems to have addressed most of their previous quality control concerns that I know of regarding this mouse, and I'm hopeful that sort of attitude will continue with their future products. I'm excited for what they've got planned next, but for now, I'm sure their latest release of the wireless symmetrical will please most people who aren't fans of the ergonomic shape. While we're closing off here, I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you guys for your continued support. Back in that last video I uploaded, we were only at 70 subscribers, and we're already at 350, which is insane. I did not expect that kind of growth, and I just need you guys to know that I seriously appreciate it. I'm planning on making a video dedicated to this, hopefully soon. I don't know when it'll be out, but I just want you to know that it's coming. It'll probably be out before the next review that I have coming. But as always, please don't forget to check out other people's reviews and try to develop your own opinions.